All right. So let's continue from where we stopped. Strongly type model to pass data to views, right? So let me share my screen. Manu, please, can you disable participant sharing screen? Enable participant sharing screen.
Sorry about that. Done.
Okay. Okay. So let me know when. Okay. I guess you guys can see my screen now, right? Okay. So let's work on the strongly typed models first. So yeah, we can create our models we want to use. So now let's create let's just create a vehicle. Let's just create a vehicle model and let's see how it works. So let's call our model vehicle. Yeah. So we can define properties of a vehicle. We can say a vehicle has color, a vehicle has engine. So a vehicle has color, a vehicle has engine, right? It could be V6, could be V4. Then a vehicle could have list of body parts. So let's create a list. Let me not create a string. Let me create a list and show you how you guys can also work with other kind of data types. So we could call it the list of strings. Call it a list of strings, and we could call it body parts. Call it body parts. Yeah. So yeah. So this is going to be our model. Our model is called a vehicle, and then it has color, it has engine, it has body parts, right? Okay. So now let's create a controller and then link it to our views. All right. So now on your controller, you create, okay, because I'm using Visual Studio, so it's almost like the same process when you're working on your Visual Studio code. Yeah. So on my controller, I'll create a controller. It's going to be MVC controller, and then I'll call it vehicle controller. So the controllers are always suffixed by this controller name. All controllers are suffixed by this. So we call it vehicle controller and then we click on add. Yeah, so by default, it automatically creates like a view for us, and that's the index view. So, but if you click on this, if you run this, if you say go to view, you return an error because you need to create that view. So by default, like I told you guys now, whenever you create a controller, right, a controller is always mapped to a specific view with a folder. So how do we do that? We can create the view from here. We can just go to add view, then it's going to be, just do this, add, and then we might not use a layout page for now. We can just make it empty. So yeah, and then you can add. So it takes a while. So just be checking. But after it has created this, it will automatically create another folder called vehicle and passing the index view there so that we can be able to match our vehicle controller to our index view under the vehicle folder in the view folders. So let us give it like a Okay, I don't know why that error popped up, but let me try it again. Okay, yeah, it's done. I don't know why that error came up, but like for some reasons, I don't know why that error popped up. But our vehicle folder has already been created under our view. So you can see our home folder is there, our shared folder that I told you that is used across all controllers, and then our vehicle folder is created with the index view. So if you come to this our vehicle controller now, and then we go to, and you click on go to view, it will take you here because already it has already been created. Has already been created. So by default, why your layout is null is because when I was creating this view, I said that we shouldn't use any layout. So your layout that should be used, like I told you now, that when you are creating your layout is to be shared, is to be referenced from this shared folder here. So we can decide to use this layout and say that our layout should be this. But instead, I don't want to use this layout. But when you're creating a view, you can decide to use like a particular layout from your shared folder, and then automatically your layout will not be referenced to this layout. But for this purpose, like I propose for this particular class, is just to show you the interaction between model view controllers. So now we've created our vehicle controller and then we called it this, right? So we want to now pass data from our controller. Like I told you guys, I'm going to be showing you how to use a strongly type model and the weakly type model. But for the strongly type model is the one that's going to be our focus for now. So we already created our model called vehicle CS. That's our vehicle class. And then we gave it properties like color, engine, and the list of strings for body parts. So we can come here. We can come to this our vehicle controller here and then define like an instance of the class vehicle. We bring it from our other, then we give it a class equals to new, and then we can define all the parts, all the types. You can see, so color, let's give it color. So Vela Health color is green. So let's give it green. That's part of our color, like one of our colors is green. So we also have engine. You can give it engine as we say V6. So like a type of vehicle can be V6 or V8, depending on the vehicle. Then we have like the body parts. So body parts is like a list of strings, right? So how do we define this? So because it's a list of strings, we can do this, new the list of strings, and then we pass in because it needs to accept a strings types. So the list of strings, so passing the list. So what can we have as our body parts? We could have say bonnet, have the bonnet. It could have the wiper, could have let's just use bonnet and wiper for now, just for the purpose of this class. So vehicle this. So now, because this is a strongly typed model, we know the kind of model that we're going to be dealing with now. Vehicle is a vehicle. So we need to now, so how do you now pass? Because this is our controller, and we need to pass this view, that's the properties of everything in this class to this view, so that when it goes to this view, it goes to our index CTM, and then we can render the data and then see it on our screen. I don't know if you guys get my point. So we want to be able to send this vehicle, and this vehicle is a strongly typed model. That's the concept of you having like your model here, and then passing it here. So the model is being defined there. So now this is how the MVC works now. So you define your model under your model, then your controller, you come to your controller, get the action type that you want. And now this action type that we want is our index, right? We want to now return the view that was strongly typed model and then pass it to our view that we created as index.html under the view folder. So we come here, after defining this, then we now pass in our vehicle because you need to use something with this variable that you've already used. So you come here and define our. Remember what I told you guys about view. So this view, yes, it returns a view result. And then the view result returns this. Returns, you can pass in an object, you can pass in a string. And so an object here, we just passed in now and this is an object here, a vehicle, and we pass it, so it will definitely accept it. You can also pass a string. You can come here and say, instead of passing vehicle, you can come here and say, I want to pass Wella Health, and then it still flies through. It still goes through, you get. So anything that we pass in here is what is going to be rendered by our view under this particular index here. So because we have index items, so we can create several views. We can come here and now come and say public I action results, and let's say we want what do we need? We can give the name as engine view, and come here. And then we now return our view again, and then we now create this view. So for each action that you create, you have to create its corresponding view. So, but for now, we shouldn't return the Vela script, because if we return if we return this view here, it's going to just be Vela health code that will be returned because it's a string here. But we want to return our strongly typed model. So we come here and then we pass in vehicle. Yeah. So now vehicle comes here. Now, how do we now display this data, this our view inside our index.html? So we come to our index.html here, and like I remember what I told you guys about Razor markup now. So Razor markup are prefixed with this art symbol here. So we need our art our model, our view model to be able to get the properties of whatever that is in that model, and then because we are sending an instance of a vehicle to our view in this index.html, so we need to get that vehicle inside our index.html. So how do we get it? We start here again and say art, then model, then how do you now define it? You come to the name of your project is Vela Health School, Vela High School MVC dot, come here, the models dot vehicle, and then you come there. So now how do you now get what we need to be able to be rendered on our HTML file here? So this is our head here, and then of course it's our body that we need to be rendered. So then we come to this body. So let us define some basics. So I'm not going to be doing any style in class because that's not the purpose of this class. So the purpose of this class is just to show you MVC. It's not basically to do like any sort of styles here. We are not, so this is like backend class in basically, like, so in basic, right? So we are just going to be doing like most stuff about how you can just be able to like link your MVCs together. So body here, so we can now, so let us define some markup tags, and that we can be able to use to render what we need. So we can say let us use address for this. Yeah, we can say, what do we want to get? We want to get all these properties here: color, the engine, the body parts. Yeah. So we can now say something like this. At model. So you have to come here and say at model dot. So yeah, this at model here is just to show, is just to bring the model class. You can see it's prefixed with a small m. You just bring the model class here and then bring it in your view file here. Then this one with the capital M here, it gets the model property. As you can see, I hovered on it. So it gets the model property of that particular model. So you should be able to, as you can see, as I did at model dot, it showed me all the properties that I have in my model, my vehicle model class. It showed me body parts, showed me color, it showed me engine. So let's do color, and let's see what that brings. So we can break this and break this. Then let's also do at model say engine. And we can also break this. Then for our body parts is the list, so you can just loop through and see.